Well, we're getting ready for continuing action here at Queensland Raceway, and the bLU Junior Cup, their second race of the weekend, is about to get underway with Hunter Corney, Hunter Charlotte and Connor Lewis starting from the front row of the grid. Ethan Johnson, Rossi McAdam and Elijah Andrew. Great result there from the young man from Western Sydney on row 2.
Nicholas Lazos, Zane Beckinsale and Henry Hind on row 3. Row 4's Augustus O'Halloran, Jed Lewis, Phoenix O'Brien, and row 5, Ethan Pelgrave, Adam Jordan and Zach Russo.
Couple of interesting stats coming out of race number 1 for the Superbikes though, Steve. 518 days since Mike Jones's last race win in the Australian Superbike Championship and cRU Halliday's 100th race, as we get ready to go racing for the bLU Junior Cup. Junior Cup is go. Great start there from Corney on the front row of the grid in pole position on board bike number 40. Front wheel came up a little bit into the air, but he got a great drive straight away, and he should lead them down into Alpine Stars corner turn 1 as they make their way through there. Ethan Johnson also getting a great start on board bike number 31 from the outside of the front row of the grid as well. He should have slotted into second position as they made their way through and out of our camera shot. But this is the real important part for these little bikes. Slipstreaming down this very long back straight down AWMF corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Hunter Charlotte start, not so good. He went, he bobbed up in the air a couple of times, but as you can see, he's still there in that 5th or 6th position at the moment. But as we're going to see, the positions are going to change so much in this race, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, Ethan Johnson immediately took advantage of the slipstream and utilised it on Hunter Corney. The only thing was that Corney was able to then utilise the slipstream back on him as they made their way down into turn 3. Oh. Unfortunately, Zach Russo has had an off-track excursion at AWMF corner and has now got a fair bit of catching up work to do.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for him from there to get back onto the pack. That's for sure. But meanwhile, up front, it's still Ethan Johnson with Hunter Corney there. Rossi McAdam as well. Hunter Charlotte's dropped down a couple of places now. Yeah,
there was a few people actually ran wide on the entry into Honda corner turn 4 on that occasion. As Corney back into the lead, Ethan Johnson slotted back into second. Rossi McAdam doing a good job there to hold down third position on board bike number 16. Then it's Nicholas Lazos, who's been the big improver for mine since the 2023 season. And doing a great job there on board bike number 11. You can see he's the first of the red helmets. The other rider with the red helmet is Connor Lewis on board bike number 77. And as we go down to Alpine Stars corner, Hunter Charlotte is also in that group as well. He was the one that ran wide and lost a few positions. He started a lot higher up on the grid. Now it's time that he's got to get the concentration level back, Steve, after losing those positions early on, and try and latch onto this lead group that are just starting to make a break away from the next group, which looks like it's headed up by Zane Beckinsale and Elijah Andrew.
Yeah, good to see Zane Beckinsale up there. We haven't really mentioned him too much, so it sounds like he's coming on, learning how to ride this bike and, you know, honing those skills. That's what this class is about. And look at the skills these guys are honing. They're certainly learning how to slipstream and outbrake each other.
Well, Ethan Johnson doing a great job on the brakes down there. And these bikes are getting up to about the 140, 150 kilometre an hour mark, depending on if you're able to utilise the slipstream or not down the long back straight.
Well,
and then on the brakes hard into that corner.
If you want to have a look, this is the difference a slipstream makes. The 2 leaders down the back straight, their top speeds were 137, 138. Back in the pack, mid-pack, when they've had a lot of guys that they can slipstream, they're doing 147. So it makes 10 k's an hour difference down the back straight here at Queensland Raceway on these bikes. That's what the slipstream will do for you.
Well, start is under investigation. Advice from ASBK Race Direction as we come round to complete the second lap of this 6-lap journey for the Oceania bLU Junior Cup. Of course, the first round of the championship was held at Sydney Motorsport Park at the last round. So these guys back out on track for their second round of the championship.
135.5 fastest lap out there. John Pelgrave's got the lap record from all the way back from 22, actually, a 134.8. So they're not too far off of that at the moment.
Well, and his younger brother Ethan competing in this championship this year. They know that it's such a great breeding ground for the young hard chargers that want to make a name for themselves. And speaking of making a name for yourself, what about Connor Lewis utilising the slipstream to perfection, Steve, to challenge for the lead? Just hasn't quite got the outbraking to try and get the better of Hunter Corney, who seemed to be able to just swamped halfway down the straight, but then amazingly put himself in position to come out of turn 3 once again in the lead as we go 3. Is that even 4 abreast down the back straight towards Hunter Corner?
Was that Connor Lewis? I could see him. They do it all the time. Tapped his rear ducktail and said, just follow me and I'll get you to the end.
And we know that they take absolutely no notice of that. It's been proven over the years. If I had $1 for every time that I'd seen someone do that, Steve, I could probably put someone into the bLU Junior Cup.
There you go. You'd be absolutely right.
It is incredibly great value for money. You pay your money at the beginning of the year. The bike, the leathers, the helmet, the tyres, boots, the whole package is actually ready for you at every single round. Oh, a bit of a stand up there from Rossi McAdam, as I think that was either Connor Lewis or Hunter Charlotte. Couldn't quite pick the number, came up the inside as we come round to complete 3 laps, so half race distance for the bLU Junior Cup in their second race of the weekend. And a great tie-up too with Hunter Corney, his dad Jason, former MotoGP mechanic, and has travelled all around the world working on bikes. And now the next generation, Hunter doing a great job on board the bLU Junior Cup machine, but also racing in the Mini GP Championship as well. So plenty of track time for that young man.
Yeah, and you know, it can make a difference, because if you've got someone in your corner that's got the mental know-how on what you need to do, it really can help the kids out. So, you know, it's good to have him there in his corner.
So the Queenslander doing a good job too, are currently hold down the lead, but under a fair bit of challenge now from Connor Lewis and Rossi McAdam, who I think have maybe just made a move there on the brakes, with Corney just running a fraction wide at the apex of turn 3. Here we go, Steve, once again, 3 and 4 abreast down to Hunter Corner. Plenty of overtaking maneuvers. Oh, someone running a little bit wide on the entry there, but managing to get the line back as they make their way through these tricky corners. And you spoke about it in your track preview, Steve, that those corners there on the infield of the circuit, they're the only 2 left-hand corners, but the exit of Racing Road Corner Turn 5 so important. And as we've just seen then, it is Rossi McAdam that's got the great drive out, and he maintains the lead through Ducati Corner. Yeah,
100%. You're absolutely right. That middle part of the sector there, you can make or break, lose a lot of time. But with these bikes, the slipstream is what it's all about. And this class teaches these guys the mental aspect of placing the bike on the right part of the circuit, you know what I mean, at the right time. I mean, you want to be thinking now about what's going to be happening at the finish line when you get there, because we haven't got long to go, less than 2 laps now till this one's wound up. If you're off the back of this pack at this point, you're not in with a chance for a podium. So you just got to stay where you are now, try not to do anything silly.
Was that a foot off the peg there from Rossi McAdam, as there was a little bit of contact, I think, between possibly him and also Hunter Charlotte, who's managed to make his way back forward again, Steve, after not getting the good start and having to come back through the pack. In fact, those 2 riders that were off the back a couple of laps ago are now starting to close up. I think that would be Nicholas Larzos and possibly even Jed Louis.
Yeah, well, Nicholas Larzos, he's having a cracker of a year this year. I mean, last year was his first year into it. This year he's like really bringing himself on strong and getting some real good results.
So through Honda we go. We will come round through the final 2 corners at Racing Road now, and then Ducati Corner, and then get the last lap board. So it'll be 3.1 kilometres to go as they come across the line. And that is enough for lots of overtaking manoeuvres, because, as you mentioned several times, it's not just the brakes here, it is the slipstream that is so important as Ethan Johnson goes back into the lead. So Corney now will be trying to plan his last lap. You can almost see that he didn't want to lead there as they came out of the corner.
What he'll be doing now, there's Dad. What he'll be doing now is he'll be like, all of those guys there would have been thinking, okay, if I'm in this position on the last lap, I'm going to be able to slipstream to the finish line, or I'm not. Do I need to be here, or do I need to be further ahead than the guy in front of me? What do I need to do?
Well, Connor Lewis was well placed there as they went into turn 1. He's dropped back a little bit in the pack now. That could be quite advantageous for him, because now he's going to be able to utilise the slipstream of Ethan Johnson just in front of him on board bike number 31. And it is Corney, though, that still leads. They're about to all start pulling out of the slipstream and try and get the braking advantage down into turn 3. There they go, 4 abreast. Who's going to be the smartest on the brakes? It is Connor Lewis that's on the inside line, but I don't think he's going to be able to get around Corney, who just came from the outside, swept around it. Look at the distance he's made on the exit of the corner, Steve. Smart riding.
Absolutely. You can see he's putting it down to the metal to the pedal at the moment, pedal to the metal. staying on that inside of the circuit, making people go offline. Now he's whipped over to the right-hand side of the track at the last minute. He's gone in nice and deep. But he knows already that there's going to be guys diving up the inside of him.
How was the full leg dangle down into Hunter Corner as well on that entry to the corner? He was so late on the brakes. Just testing the limits of adhesion of the front Dunlop tyre, and he's got a pretty handy lead as they come down to Ducati for the first time. It really is going to be a battle for the final places on the podium now, because I don't think anyone's going to get close enough to Hunter Corney, and he will take the win as he makes his way down to the line now. No one can slipstream him. The big news is that I think Rossi McAdam is trying to find his way past Connor Lewis for second position, but I don't think he can do it. As they come to the line, it is Hunter Corney that takes the win from Connor Lewis in second place. Rossi McAdam in third, and a few people there smashing their tanks with, fists full of frustration as they made their way across the line because they didn't get the results that they wanted. But the smartest man on the last lap was that man there, your race winner, Hunter Corney. Played that one to absolute perfection.
He certainly did. Ethan Johnson with the lap record, but misses out on the podium, unfortunately for him. He did a 34.4, eclipsing the 34.8 that John Pelgrave did a couple of years ago.
So that is 2 race wins for Hunter Corney now in the other 2 races that have been held here at Queensland Raceway this weekend. The first by 3 seconds, the second by 0.3 of a second over Connor Lewis. Rossi McAdam in third position, Ethan Johnson in fourth, Nicholas Lazos in fifth, Hunter Charlotte in sixth, Jed Louis in seventh, Elijah Andrew in eighth, Zane Beckinsdale in ninth, and Augustus O'Halloran rounds out your top 10.
Henry Hind in 11th, Phoenix O'Brien 12th, Ethan Pelgrave in 13th. His brother had the previous lap record. Adam Jordan in 14th, and Zach Russo in 15th rounds out your field, and he had that early off.